everyone. Welcome to another edition of Creepy Things. I'm your host, Robert Massetti, and welcome my host, Boney Bob. Say hello, Bob.
Hello, everybody. This is Boney Bob, and welcome to Creepy Things.
Welcome to another edition. We're glad you're here. And this week we're talking about our favorite horror franchises. Now, believe me, this is not the be-all, end-all. You know, we love a lot of different horror franchises. We're just making a top 5 for right now. We'll probably do some more. So if your favorite horror franchise isn't in this list, it's not to say that it's bad. It's just, this is our opinion. This is what we like. Right, Bob? Anyway, my take on horror franchises is a love-hate relationship. There's a horror franchises that you know that they're just making the franchise to make money, which kind of happened with Friday the 13th. You know, when it got towards the end, it looked like, oh, wow, we ran out of ideas, but we know we're still going to make money, so we're going to keep making them. And then there's other franchises that actually kind of work off each other and really work as a franchise. And I'll talk about that later on, but I just want you to know that, you know, horror franchises are good sometimes and sometimes bad. It's kind of like the same kind of relationship that I have with remakes. Now, I could take a whole video talking about remakes because sometimes remakes really piss me off. And then there's sometimes remakes that are fantastic. One example I'll give you is The Thing. Now, another example I'll give you is Psycho. The original Psycho, great movie, but when they remade it in color with Vince Vaughn, shot for shot, blasphemy. Okay, very pissed off about that. I never even saw the film. I refused to see it. The Thing, on the other hand, great film by John Carpenter. Incredible. I mean, that's how you do a remake. Let's take the idea and let's make it better. And that's what John Carpenter did with The Thing. So, I mean, that's one of my favorite horror films. But anyway, to get back on the subject, so what we're talking about is horror franchises. And this is my top 5. I don't know if Boney Bob's going to give his top 5 or not.
Boy, he sure can talk a lot. Shit.
Anyway, so let's get going. So number 5 in the best horror franchise, in my opinion, I guess Boney Bob too, is A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, Nightmare on Elm Street, people are going to go, what? Come on, Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Okay. I'll grant you this. I love the first movie. Second movie sucks. Third movie, Dream Warriors, really good movie. Like that movie a lot. The fourth and fifth, you know, they're good. But anyway, I just like Freddy Krueger. I like his character. I love Robert Englund. Met him many times. But, you know, I have to admit, when I first saw Nightmare on Elm Street, actually in the theaters, I was like so impressed with it. And, you know, that's when Wes Craven became one of my favorite horror directors, and I started watching everything that came out from him. So anyway, so this is number 5, okay? A Nightmare on Elm Street. Then, of course, like I said, Wes Craven became a huge fan of mine after Nightmare on Elm Street. So the next horror franchise that I actually really like, it's a really good franchise, and even the continuation now that they started it anew and they're kind of doing a modern version of it. Again, those movies are good to a point. And okay, so you're probably wondering what I'm talking about. It's the Scream franchise. The original 4 Screams that were made and directed by Wes Craven, I really like. I enjoy every one of them. Yeah, it gets kind of I don't know, I want to say the same old thing as we progress in the series, but when they got to round to 4, I thought that they were, really trying to do something different. But three's good, two's good. But they kind of, when they were making the franchise, they were designing it as a franchise, so it works a lot better. But I enjoy all these films, even like I said, even the newer ones. Again, those are not as good as Wes Craven's, but it has some merits to them and the nostalgia and all that crap. But so anyway, number 4, Scream franchise. I adore this franchise. Actually saw these movies when I was in film school when they first came out. So I'm talking about Evil Dead, Sam Raimi. Again, when I saw these movies, Sam Raimi became one of my favorite directors. I loved everything that he did, even though he went from horror and started doing other types of movies. Like he even did superhero. Well, of course he did superhero movies, but he did Darkman, which was kind of a horror superhero movie. But then he went on to do Spider-Man, of course. But he did those justice. A very good director. Everything he does, I really like. He even made a Western, believe it or not. Anyway, so Evil Dead franchise. The first one, again, was very low budget. It was his first movie. It became a classic. And then they kind of remade it with Evil Dead 2, kind of making fun of it and turning it into an action horror comedy. And then they went full action horror comedy with Army of Darkness. Not my favorite in the series, but I still like it. It's really good. But, and then they, of course, are now doing the current ones. They remade Evil Dead into more of a balls-out horror film, which I really like. And then, of course, Evil Dead Rise, which just came out. And that one, really good gore effects. But, I like this series a lot. It's a lot of fun. Even when they go from kind of horror to comedy, it's got everything. I mean, gore. You can't beat it. And Sam Raimi, directing. So
The number 2 horror franchise that we like is the George Romero series of zombie movies like Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, all the things that are dead. Everything dead. I love zombies. They're cool.
Now, my number 1 horror franchise, and this, like I said, it's not the be-all, end-all. This isn't all of them, but one of my favorites, of course, is the Conjuring universe altogether. I will admit that not all the films in the Conjuring universe are good. The first and second Conjurings I really like because they're directed by James Wan, which I think is an incredible director. He did Saw. I love all his work. Anyway, the Conjuring universe, even with Annabelle and I really like The Nun. Those types of movies. Everything that's connected with the Warrens and that type of stuff really works for me. There's a couple movies like I said, in the universe that are kind of, I don't know. But anyway, I just enjoy everything that comes out of there, especially if James Wan is behind the lens directing. That's my top 5 horror franchises. Like I said, there's more, but just the current thing that I'm doing with horror franchises, and there's 5 of them that I really like. What do you think, Bob? Do you agree with all this, or do you care, or anything from you?
My number 1 pick for horror franchise is the Evil Dead franchise because, look, I'm on the cover. Look at me. I look great, don't I? Boney Bob, he loves Evil Dead. Yes.
I hope you enjoyed this. Again, if you want to support this channel, please subscribe. We also have a store, and you can get this same merchandise that I'm wearing at the Creepy Things store. Just go to creepythingsstore.com. creepythingsstore.com. Wow. They got all kinds of stuff there. Of course, there's other merchandise from our other brands, Fear Film Studios, Free Show Horror Film Festival, and a couple other things that we got there. So check it out. It helps us out. It supports us, and you can wear some really cool merch. It's cool. You gotta love it. So anyway, thank you again for watching. We really appreciate you. And again, like and subscribe and tell all your friends who are horror fans to check us out. Say goodbye, Bob. Have a great one.